The second most common thing people say when they hear I do not have a cell phone is that they could never do that themselves. I point out that people did, in fact, live in the 1990s. And then I get the cavalcade of increasingly unlikely scenarios for which I could not survive without a phone. How do you keep in touch with your friends? Oh, I handwrite them letters, by candlelight usually, and I send them via paid courier. No, if I can't talk to them in person, which I do, I can email them. I can talk on Discord. I can hit them up on Facebook. I can call them using a landline. I can Zoom with them using my computer. The difference is they know I will not respond immediately. I will not drop everything to deal with drama. I was working yesterday with a teenager whose friend emailed her or Facebooked her or whatever and just said, so-and-so is dead. And she had to respond immediately. Oh my gosh. And that was just this on-site back and forth and back and forth. The person wasn't dead. Their friend just wanted to create drama and have attention. Does not happen with me. If someone is bored and they contact me, they will continue to be bored. In the book Behind Their Screens, which talks about teenagers and cell phones, the author mentions that the speed of a response is a major stressor on a relationship. Essentially, if you don't respond fast enough, are you even a friend at all if you don't respond within 15 minutes? Nobody expects that of me. And not having that expectation means they do not use that metric on me. And thus, I don't have to worry about being a bad friend. What if you get lost? Well, I've got a good sense of direction. I have a good sense of direction because I have lived in so many different cities and because I got lost so often. So the simple response is, if I get lost, I learn a new place. Let's face it though, over 99% of your journeys are to places you've already been. For the remaining 1%, you can look up directions beforehand. That's right. I write down directions like an ancient mariner heading to the Baltic Sea. If your handwritten directions get lost, which is, people ask me this, which did happen once. I was driving from Buffalo to Bloomington and my cat ate the last 3 lines of my directions and I did get pretty lost in a city I've never been to before. So I stopped at a local place and just asked for directions to the place I was going. They didn't know, so they asked someone else who did know, and 15 minutes later I'm back on the road. That's it. That's as hard as that was. I could have also just called the place I was going using a landline at the church at which I stopped. If not a church, a gas station, a supermarket. The 1% of 1% of the time where you get lost driving somewhere, there's still a way out of it, and it's not that hard. Or, of course, your car could just have a smart screen where you plug in directions, because that happens too. What if there were a school shooting at your kid's school and you need to know they are safe? Yes, the parental anxiety guilt trip. First off, shame on me for not bringing my cell phone to every lecture, meeting, and lunch break just in case something happens. Next off, shame on me for not being constantly available for every emergency. I don't drop my cell phone during lecture, pick up my cell phone during lecture and just say, oh my gosh, I got an alert and 5% off Papa John's. No. I'm not even going to address how this gets into helicopter parenting or constant anxiety. I'm just going to say this. If something is so dire that I would need to drop everything and run to my kid immediately, they should be calling 911, not me. If there were a school shooting, I would rather my kid be looking out for himself than trying to reassure me that they're okay. Because 5 minutes later, I'm just going to want the same update again. What if you were out in the middle of the woods and you fell off a cliff and you needed to get help? This is like the what if you fell into quicksand question, and yet this always gets brought up. So let's break it down. I'd need to be hiking alone on an untraveled path where I could not just yell out for help. I'd need to fall off that path into a deep ravine or get mauled by a cougar, I don't know, something. People are imaginative. I'd need to be so injured that I could not survive or get back up, but not so injured that I could not wait 3 to 4 hours for a rescue to arrive after texting them. Oh, and of course, there would need to be a signal. I go on like 1 or maybe 2 hikes per year. Only once in my 10 years here without a cell phone have I gone on a poorly traveled path. So I went with a friend who knew the path well. Most hiking trails don't just go next to cliffs the whole time. If they do, you should be with a partner or at least let people know where you're going and when you plan to be back. That's just basic hiking safety. These are all silly questions. And there are much better questions people should be asking me because there is a way that lacking a cell phone has affected me negatively every day.